In part 3 of my Retirement in Sussex YouTube trilogy, I explained how, after I had been assaulted in my back garden by 3 people, including an ex-policeman, I was the person who was arrested and had my property deliberately damaged by the police. I made 3 complaints to Sussex Police. First, I complained that I had not been given a copy of a witness statement which had led to my arrest, presumably written by the ex-policeman who had assaulted me in 2002 and, following police inaction, again in 2004. My complaint was answered by Sergeant N. Maloney, who said my complaint was a matter for the Data Protection Officer. I made an application under the Data Protection Act, which was dealt with by scum named Burtonshaw, who refused to allow me a copy of that statement. The other 2 complaints followed my discovery using the Data Protection Act that following the attacks on me in 2002 and 2004, dishonest and corrupt records had been entered in the Sussex Police crime reporting system. Acting Inspector N. Maloney, complying with the force's practice of institutional dishonesty, refused to record those complaints. I appealed against the rejection of my complaints to the Independent Police Complaints Commission. On the web page defining their values, the Commission start by saying, "We use our authority and powers unflinchingly to help those who suffer injustice because of an abuse of police powers to obtain redress." Don't believe a word of it. It is untrue. In my experience, they brush aside complaints from the public whenever possible. I have published detailed reports on my website about the way in which the IPCC dismissed or neutralised my complaints, for which the Commissioner for Sussex, Nicola Williams, is presumably responsible. There follows a brief account of what happened following my referral to the IPCC of the 3 complaints I've just mentioned. During the wait of 9 months that followed, I complained about dilatory practice by the IPCC to the Home Secretary in October 2006, to the IPCC Complaints Department November 2006, to my MP March 2007, and to the IPCC again May 2007. On May the 25th, after 9 months, I received a response from the IPCC. Mr. Broyd, a casework manager, seemed surprisingly ignorant of my case. On screen is the start of Mr. Broyd's statement of findings. He says, "The complaint relates to an incident in which the complainant alleges he was assaulted by his neighbour in 2002. Only one of my 3 complaints concerns an assault by a neighbour in 2002. The other 2 concern assaults by 3 neighbours in 2004. The last sentence of the first paragraph says that I alleged police impartiality, which I most certainly did not. The 4th paragraph says, he alleges that PC Francis wrote a fictitious report relating to the alleged assault, which the complainant signed. No, no, no. This allegation relates to the assaults in 2004, after which I wrote my own witness statement and handed it to PC Francis. PC Francis then wrote his version of my statement, and I signed that after correcting vocabulary and syntax. Much later, I discovered that the entry under my name in the crime reporting system bore very little resemblance to either of the statements signed by me. Despite knowing little about the basis for my complaints, Mr. Broyd upheld my appeal. Sussex Police and/or Sussex Police Authority were required to record the complaint and either investigate the complaint or apply to the IPCC for a dispensation not to investigate allegations of malpractice, dishonesty and corruption. Law concerning dispensations is quoted in full on my IPCC and the Misuse of Law webpage. Briefly, the IPCC can grant a dispensation if more than 12 months have elapsed between the incident giving rise to the complaint and the making of the complaint, and no good reason for the delay has been shown, or if the complaint is repetitious, being substantially the same as a previous complaint, with no fresh allegations and no fresh evidence. On the 27th of June, Detective Inspector Bryce wrote to inform me that Sussex Police were applying for a dispensation because more than 12 months had elapsed and it is repetitious. Knowing that the police did not have the right to a dispensation, I created a web page called The Time Factor, and on the 13th of July I wrote to the IPCC, quote, "The IPCC have not told me whether I can object to Sussex Police being granted a dispensation to ignore complaints about malpractice, dishonesty and corruption, but I am objecting anyway. Should the IPCC wish to take my views into account, they are published at www.ggm11plus.com/time-htm. On the 13th of August, I received a letter from Abiodun Sorimakan, which said that the IPCC might grant the dispensation, though I had a week to object. I immediately telephoned Mr. Sorimakan, who knew nothing of the objections I had emailed to the IPCC a month earlier. Mr. Sorimakan asked me to email to him a copy of the earlier email, which I did the same morning. 2 days later, Mr. Sorimakan wrote the letter which is quoted on screen now. The first paragraph quoted says, "The issues that you raised in these 3 complaints are those that were raised in another complaint. This is clearly and obviously untrue. I showed on the Time Factor webpage that none of the complaints was repetitious. On the webpage The IPCC and the Misuse of Law, I print all 11 complaints. I'll print them on screen now, as the lack of repetition is very evident. Here are the 8 earlier complaints, about which both D.I. Preddy of Sussex Police Professional Standards Department and Mr. Jasper of the IPCC wrote dishonest reports. And here are the 3 later complaints, which I was only in a position to make after reading those dishonest reports and applying for information under the Data Protection Act. Mr. Sorimakan's second paragraph says, "You have not provided any reason for the delay in submitting the complaints. This is utterly untrue. The Time Factor webpage, to which I drew the attention of the IPCC on 2 occasions, presents very detailed data about delays, those due to me being measured in days, those due to circumstances, to Sussex Police and to the IPCC being measured in months. I am now waiting for the results of my 4th application to Sussex Police for information under the Data Protection Act. The IPCC say that police forces can only apply for a dispensation after they have recorded complaints. My request for data specified the date and substance of my 3 complaints, and then requested the information that is on screen now. I should have the answer before the end of September 2007. I expect to be updating this video before very long.